The divisional round of the NFL playoff is complete. So now we got some more picks locked in. We're going to go ahead and do our mock draft for this week. Now we're going to start it off with Tennessee Titans, of course, on the clock here at number one. For me, I'm going quarterback. And in my early stages of watching these guys, I'm going to go Cam Ward. I just think he has a little bit more upside than Shador. And I think that both of them have the potential to be decent NFL starters. Cam Ward just has more potential, in my opinion. I think Shador is more of the middle of the pack starter at his best. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's still a quality starter. It's just, if I'm going to take a swing at number one, I go with Cam Ward. Now at number two, this is probably going to irritate a lot of people, but I'm going Travis Hunter to the Browns. Listen, I know they need a quarterback, but I'm really convinced Cleveland's going to go get a veteran. I just don't see them going young. I could be wrong, but my gut keeps telling me they're not going to do it. So I'm going to go Travis Hunter. At pick three, we are going to go Shador to the Giants. It makes the most sense. They just need a quarterback. I still think that they also would like to go veteran, maybe get a guy like Justin Fields, but for now, I'm going to go Shador. I just don't know that they can pass with their current quarterback situation. And then at pick four, it's the New England Patriots, Abdul Carter. A lot of this is pretty chalk. So we're going to go pretty quick through the top here because those picks are kind of what a lot of people do and a lot of what you'd expect. Now at number five, this is a pick that maybe is a little bit out of my comfort zone. I personally have always mocked Mason Graham, but you got to change it up or people are going to get sick of watching. I'm going to go Will Johnson here. I want to see what happens if things get a little different here. So at pick six, that's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're going to get Tet McMillan in this one because I also wanted to switch that up. Here's the thing. They could use a big playmaker. And Tet McMillan has a lot of upside from what I've watched so far. Once again, he's a guy I've watched a little bit of tape of. I don't have a grade on him yet. I explain my thing in every one, but I try to watch some tape on these guys, get an idea, watch a little bit more, and then I'll put a grade on them. Right now, I've worked on like my top 7 or 8 edge rushers are done where I have grades on them. My interior defensive linemen, I have grades on the top. I think I have 7 guys there. I'm working on linebackers right now to officially have grades on them so that way I have a better idea of how I feel about them. I know it seems kind of crazy, but I'm a little bit different on some of these guys than how the league views them or how PFF views them. Like, I'll admit, I've been low on James Pierce Jr. He has potential, but he's so thin. I just see him as a DPR, and I don't think you can take a designated pass rusher in the top 15, 20 picks. I don't think that's a good pick in my opinion. He has upside, but there's a lot of risk reward there that you have to really decide. Either way, on the clock at pick 7, the New York Jets, they're going to go Mason Graham. Just too good to pass up here. I would be shocked if he gets out of the top 5, man. He's currently my second graded player in this class. I mean, he's just so awesome. He defends the run really well. He's a great pass rusher. The only thing I don't love about him, one thing I have to point out, is he lines up very far off the ball and it annoys the living heck out of me. He makes his get off seem kind of slow because he's just so far back. I wish he would fix that and get aligned a little bit closer. I think it'd make him a little bit more effective. But, what do I know? Maybe it's a technique they ask him to do at Michigan. I don't know. At pick 8, the Carolina Panthers are up. They're going to go Luther Burden here. Get a playmaker, help out Bryce Young. Could be a great player for him. He's really explosive. I think he's probably more of a slot, so he's a guy you could use to replace the aging Adam Thielen, and that could be your option. At pick 9, the New Orleans Saints are on the clock. They're going to go ahead and kind of shock the world here. And this is a guy that I think is really going to fly up boards. And after the success last year Brock Bowers had for the Raiders, Tyler Warren's going to get a boost here. He's going to go at number 9 to the Saints. At pick 10, the Bears are on the clock here. Now, I did this mock draft prior to them announcing the hiring of Ben Johnson. However, I still think this could potentially be an option. It's Ashton Genty going to the Bears. People are not going to like that, and I already know it. And that's okay with me. I think that he's a really good player, and I could see the Bears just trying to get good players around Caleb Williams, no matter where they can get the playmaker at. Now at pick 11, it's the Niners, and it's going to be Will Campbell. I think he's probably more of a guard. He doesn't look to have the length, and he doesn't always have the greatest anchor on the outside. And I think some of that is because he gets a little off balance trying to reach because he isn't super long. I think you stick him in there at guard, and he's going to be the best O-lineman in this class by a mile. That's just my opinion, though. At pick 12, it's the Cowboys up, and I think the Cowboys are going to go ahead and select Kelvin Banks. He's right there. help them out of here across the O line. He could play guard if they need him to. I think he'd be a good tackle as well. I really like Calvin Banks, but he's another guy that could have some length concerns at tackle, and he doesn't have the best anchor either, which I don't love. At pick 13, it's going to be Malachi Starks going to the Dolphins. This is simply, I think they could lose Javon Holland, and he's a really good player, so why not take him? At pick 14, we're going to go Colston Loveland at tight end to the Colts. I know some people are a little bit lower on Colston Loveland, but I really like what I see here in my preliminary looks at this, and I think he could be a really, really good player. At pick 15, it's going to be Jalen Walker going to, wow, they really dropped him in PFF here, going to the Falcons. Here's the thing, Jalen Walker to me is probably a second round talent from what I've evaluated so far grading. He has a lot of upside, but he doesn't have the length to play edge, which is where he looks most explosive. And he doesn't have the feel for coverage as a linebacker right now. But he's a guy that you might, if you can find the right role for, he could be really, really good. Like, he is explosive. He might be able to fit into a Micah Parsons situation in the future, but you just kind of have to wait and see. He's like an inch shorter, reportedly. You know, you got to wait for official measurements there, but about an inch shorter, similar weight. He might be able to make it happen. You're kind of looking to see what his measurements are. And then from there, you're going to have to figure out how to utilize him. He's going to have to end up in the right situation in order to work out, in my opinion. At pick 16, the Cardinals are up. It's going to be Josh Simmons. I've really been pushing them to get a tackle. I think they need to replace their right tackle, Jonah Williams. He's a free agent. Plus, I don't think he's that great. And if you can keep Kyler upright, he can be a better quarterback than he's been for you. At pick 17, the Bengals are up. They're going to go Kenneth Grant. This is another pick I do pretty consistently. I just think they need that big interior D lineman, and I'm high on Kenneth Grant. I really like him. He's my number 3 interior defensive lineman, and he could potentially drop to 4. I'm thinking about moving Shamar Stewart into my interior rankings. We'll wait and see, though. If the NFL views him more as an edge, I'm going to leave him at edge. But with his size and his weight, I wouldn't be shocked if they view him as an interior D lineman. And if so, that's going to mess up my rankings a little bit. But we'll see. This is why I'm thinking about releasing some preliminary rankings. I didn't get around to it last week, but I think I'm going to start releasing some of my preliminary rankings. And then, you know, as we get closer to the draft, put out the final ones. At pick 18, the Seattle Seahawks are up. They're going to take Mike Green. Dude's explosive. I got to be honest with you. He's just not great against the run, so I don't have the highest grade on him. I think that I really like what I see from a pass rushing perspective. I'm curious about his length. It looks pretty good, but he's a little bit, doesn't always get off of blocks the best, I guess is the best way to put it. I feel like he can get swallowed up, like, so his length could be a little bit of a question. We'll have to see. Maybe I'm wrong. And he just doesn't have the feel in the run game, but he has potential. It's a little risky. That's all I'm going to say. At pick 19, the Bucks are up. They're going to go one of my top edge rushers. And this is a guy that I'm far higher on than PFF and a lot of people, but I really like Princely Umami-Allen. I'm a big fan. He has the potential to be an elite edge rusher. He has the bend, he has the burst, he has the length, and you can see that on film. He fights against the run. He may not be strong enough and he may need to improve against the run, but I think he has the potential. And to me, he's looking like he's going to be one of my top 3 edge rushers in this class. And I think that'd be a steal at pick 19. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something with him. At pick 20, I got the Denver Broncos going Emeka Ibuka. He had a heck of a national title game, man. He is a really good player. And I think that he's going to be a beast out of the slot. And I think that, you know, you keep adding guys to the Broncos offense and make them more explosive around Bo Nix. There's nothing wrong with that. Is it their top need? Maybe not. Is he the best fit? Maybe not because of Marvin Mims, but I really like Emeka Ibuka, and I think he'd be a great player for him. At pick 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers are up, and I have them going with... Who did I have them go with? I have them going with Matthew Golden. He's a big riser. Now, I do have to watch more tape on him. He's a guy I don't have a grade on yet. I have, like, my ranges, and I kind of put notes in there, but as I watch more games, I like to put a grade after 4 games. So we'll see. But right now he has 2 games that I'm pretty comfortable with, and I'm thinking I could see what they're seeing out of him. He was their best receiver. I don't know why everybody really wants to blow up Isaiah Bond. Golden's just better, honestly. He's been just better for them. At pick 22, though, we're going to move on. It's the Chargers. They're going to go ahead and take Nick Scorton. He's another guy that I've seen move down. I really like Nick Scorton. He didn't have the best year at A&M, and he's not necessarily like a traditional edge rusher, but he's a guy that I think you can play on the edge to help set up your team against the run. And then on third down, if you got to slide him inside, he'd be able to handle that. That's just my opinion. I think he'd be a great fit to head to the Chargers. They have guys who can handle the edge rushing duties, but he can come in, fill in for them on early downs, slide inside, rush from the inside. I think he'd be a great fit. I really like Nick Scorton. He's a great player. Now at pick 23, the Green Bay Packers are up, and they're going to go his teammate, Shamar Stewart. I've really been pushing them to improve their D line. I know it seems kind of crazy. A lot of people really like their D line. I think they need to improve. And I think Lucas Van Ness has been a bust so far. Shamar Stewart, same idea. He might end up being a full time interior D lineman, but that's okay. I know you have some guys there, but trust me, you got to get younger and you got to replace those guys. I think Shamar Stewart would be a great get for the Packers here at pick 23. At pick 24, the Minnesota Vikings are up. They're going to take one of my favorite players at the interior D line position, and the guy who's currently ranked number 2 on my board, that's Walter Nolan. Not the best necessarily at getting pressure, but he has everything there as a pass rusher. I think he has really high upside. He's really good against the run, but I see the potential as a pass rusher, and that's why I'm high on him. He's kind of one of the people I'm taking a chance on because he's my number 2 interior D lineman. So I'm taking a chance, but I really like what I see out of him. Now, I know he could have shorter arms, and that could hurt his final grade. We'll have to wait and see on that. I really like the guy, and I think he could be really good. At pick 25, the Texans are up. One of the recently eliminated teams are going to go ahead and go to the interior defensive line as well, and they're going to go Derek Harmon. I know he's down low on PFF's board, but I do like Derek Harmon. He's actually pretty high on my board. I think he's going to be a good player. Might be more of a second-round pick, but he has a lot of potential, man. He has a lot of potential, and why not take a swing in round 1? At pick 26, the Los Angeles Chargers are up, and they're going to go Armin Membu. Now, he's a guy I haven't watched much of, going to be fully honest with you. I'm trusting PFF here. I'm trusting Trevor Sikkema, and I'm trusting Connor Rogers. They're both pretty high on him. I'm also trusting other guys that I watch and listen to. So we're going to put him here. I personally just don't have a strong opinion on him yet. At pick 27, the Baltimore Ravens are up. They are going to go ahead and get James Pierce to improve that pass rush. I view him as much more of like a second, third round talent. That doesn't mean that's where he's going to go. Most people that are picked near the end of the first round are second round talents. Some of them are mid, late. Like I view him as like a mid second round talent with my early grades. I see there's potential, but I view him very boom bust. And to me, that's a guy you take middle to end of the second round. You don't take him in the first round. That's just my opinion. But in a class like this, you know what? Take a swing. Why not? At pick 28, the Detroit Lions. Did not expect to see them picking here, man. I'm really disappointed in the way their season ended. We're going to go ahead and give them Mykel Williams. He's somebody that I really like, man. He's just raw. And I'm just not sure if he's ever going to be able to put it all together. So I can't grade him high. Like the potential is in him. He just hasn't put it together. And you really have to question, is he ever going to be able to put it together? At pick 29, the Washington Commanders. What a season they've had, man. We're going to go ahead and give them Jahdae Barron. I really like Jahdae Barron. Probably not their top need, but he's just a really good player. And I think he'd really improve this team. Buffalo at pick 30. They're going to go ahead and get Trey Amos, another corner that I think I'm going to be pretty high on. I think he's definitely a guy that I think will go in the first round. Doesn't mean I have a first round grade on him, but I think he'll go in the first round. Just has the length that a lot of NFL teams like, and he seems to move really well. So we'll have to see, make sure that everything I see is there. But I think he could be really high, at least as a part of the corner class. Now at pick 31, the Eagles are up. And this is kind of a pick of like, they always try to go interior D-line, edge, or tackle, or guard. And I think Wyatt Milam will be able to offer them a solution at tackle or guard if they need him to. Now, I know they still have Tyler Steen on that team, but it's not like Lane Johnson's getting any younger. Why not draft another guy who I think looks pretty good and has good potential? You'll be able to plug and play him at guard if you have to, and you could play him at tackle if you have to. I think he has plenty enough talent to do that, and he's been really good. And I think it'd just be a smart pick to keep building. And with the Eagles, you kind of always do that. You just kind of choose a line, and that's your best guess. Occasionally, I guess last year they went corner with Quinyon, which was a great get, but I don't know, man. For now, I'm going to go tackle to him. Now, the final pick, we're going to go Josh Connerly. I think that would be a really good get for the Chiefs. He might even end up rising and going higher than this. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't watched a ton of his tape yet. Going to be fully honest with you once again. I don't have access to cut ups, so I have to actually find full gameplays sometimes and scroll through them and watch every defensive play, even if they're not on the field, every offensive play. O lineman, it's easy. At least they're out there unless they're hurt. But it's just kind of a process. So scouting takes a while for me, and I don't get a lot of all 22, but I do watch every bit of all 22 that I can find. And then watching it on TV copy could take two or three times watching the same play to get a real feel of what happened. That way you can look at his feet, look at his hands, look at his bend, like if he's an edge rusher, look at his moves. And you want to look at everything a couple times because you don't get the best look at it from the sideline view. Either way, this is our mock draft for this week. As always, I posted as a short first, so if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and check it out. It'll be on the channel for you. This is kind of my defense of it. I'm really excited for draft season. We're going to do another one next week because we'll have two more teams eliminated, and then you won't see me until after the Super Bowl, which will maybe you'll see me actually after the Senior Bowl. Because I think the Senior Bowl might actually impact the draft order a little bit as far as like players go. Because you learn a lot of information, you learn length, you see them against a level of competition like Mike Green, somebody I'm really excited to see step up competition and see what he does. Because he could be a really good player, but he played a Marshall, man. And you have to wonder. The flashes are there against a bigger competition like Virginia Tech and Ohio State, but you do have to wonder. He didn't start full time until this year, so there's some questions there. I'm really excited to see a guy like him out there. We might do a mock draft after the Senior Bowl. I don't know. I've been putting them out a lot lately, and I don't want it to get too redundant and have too many of the same players and people lose interest because I'm kind of new to putting this out there. Like last year, I went and did some mock drafts and actually did draft grades after the draft, and this year we're gonna hopefully put out a top 50 and put out some positional rankings. It's just something I enjoy and it's something I've done. I just never have actually put it out there or tried to be this organized with it. Like I've always watched guys and been like, oh, I'd probably pick him here, and I'd watch him a couple times. This year, I'm trying to get a little bit deeper into it. I want to make sure everybody that could potentially go in the first round, I have 4 games on. I want to make sure that I have a top 50, which means I'm really hoping to watch 70 to 80 guys. And I don't know. It's quite hard to do, but I'm going to try to do it. I'm excited for it. Draft season's one of my favorite times of the year. We are going to have Virginia Dynasty starting on channel soon if you're interested in that. I do Dynasty content throughout the year. I'll also do Madden content. I just didn't think this year's game was as good. Either way, I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out.